Okay. There is something about you that people cannot explain. And I mean that in the most specific, most precise, most intentional way possible. Not as a general compliment, not as the kind of vague flattery that floats around in spaces like this and lands on everyone equally and therefore means nothing particularly. Um, I mean it as an observation, a clear, energetically grounded, impossible to ignore observation about something that exists in you that the people around you are responding to, whether they intend to or not. There is something about you that stops people mid sentence, mid thought, mid whatever they were doing before you entered their awareness. Something that makes them look twice, that makes them lose their train of thought, that makes them do that thing people do when they encounter something they were not prepared for, that involuntary pause, that almost imperceptible recalibration as their mind tries to catch up to what their eyes and their energy field have already registered. And the source of it is not what most people would expect. Stay with me, because this reading goes somewhere that I think is going to genuinely surprise you. I want to tell you something that came through the moment I sat with your energy today. It arrived before anything else, before any theme or narrative or specific detail. It arrived as a single, clear, almost luminous impression that stopped me the same way you stop people. You carry a light that does not age, not in the superficial sense of simply looking young, though that is absolutely part of what people are responding to when they encounter you, but in a deeper sense, in the sense of an aliveness, an energy, a quality of presence that most people lose somewhere along the way without even noticing it leaving. Somewhere between the accumulating weight of responsibilities and disappointments and the slow erosion that life's harder seasons tend to produce in people who do not know how to protect their inner world, most people lose something essential, something bright, something that belonged to a younger, more open, more wonder-filled version of themselves. You did not lose it. And that is what is making someone lose their mind right now. Let me go into this person's energy because I feel them very clearly, and what I am feeling is not mild. This is not a passing interest or a casual attraction or the kind of fleeting fascination that appears and dissolves without leaving a mark. What this person is carrying when it comes to you has weight to it, texture, the specific density of something that has been building rather than fading, something that catches them off guard repeatedly in moments they did not plan for and cannot fully manage. They see you and something happens in them that they do not have clean language for, because what they are responding to is not simple enough to be captured by ordinary description. It is not just that you look younger than your years, though that is real and it is part of it. It is what that youth signals to them on a level beneath the conscious. It signals vitality, resilience, an interior life that has not been flattened by the weight of experience the way so many people's interior lives get flattened. It signals that whatever you have been through, and they sense that you have been through things, you did not let it take the essential aliveness out of you. And that, to this person, is the most magnetic thing they have ever encountered. I want to speak about the specific quality of what they see when they look at you, because it came through in layers, and each layer carries its own significance. The first thing they register is your eyes, not the color or the shape, though those are present in their awareness. The quality behind them, the specific quality of eyes that belong to someone who sees clearly and deeply and with a kind of perception that most people either never develop or lose before they learn to use it properly. There is an intelligence in your gaze that this person finds almost unsettling in the best possible way, like looking into something that goes further back than they expected, like the depth catching them off guard every single time, even though by now they should know to expect it. They look at you and they feel seen in return, even when you are not directing your full attention at them, even when you are simply present in the same space. There is something in the quality of your awareness that makes people feel perceived. And for this person, being perceived by you is something they have become almost helplessly oriented toward. The second thing they register is your energy when you move through a space. The specific way your presence reconfigures the atmosphere of wherever you are without any effort on your part. Without performance or strategy or any conscious attempt to create an effect, you simply arrive and something changes. The temperature of the room shifts slightly. The attention in the space reorganizes itself in your direction without anyone deciding to let it. And this person notices this every single time. They watch it happen around you and they feel alongside the attraction a particular kind of awe, because what you do to a room is not something that can be manufactured. It is not something that can be learned or practiced or produced through any amount of intentional effort. It is simply what you are. Let me speak to the younger than your age piece specifically, because it is the energetic center of this reading and it deserves its full exploration. There is a reason you carry youth the way you do, and it is not luck or genetics alone, though those may play a role in the physical expression of it. The deeper reason is something I feel very clearly in your energy, and it has to do with the relationship you have, perhaps unconsciously but consistently, with wonder. You have not let the world kill your sense of wonder. That sounds simple. It is not. Maintaining genuine wonder, the real kind, the kind that makes ordinary things feel significant and beautiful and worthy of attention, in the face of everything that life throws at a person over the years, is one of the most quietly radical acts a human being can engage in. Most people lose it incrementally, each disappointment shaving off a little more, each betrayal closing a door that was once open, each year adding a layer of protection that, while necessary for survival, also dims something essential. You did not let that happen. Or if it happened partially, you found your way back. You chose, in some fundamental way that may not even feel like a choice because it is so deeply embedded in who you are, to remain open, to remain curious, to remain in relationship with the parts of life that are genuinely beautiful, even when the other parts were genuinely hard. And that choice, sustained over years, has produced something in you that is visible, that radiates outward, that people respond to before they have the words for why they are responding. The youth in you is not just physical, it is spiritual. It is the mark of a soul that has refused, quietly and persistently, to be extinguished by its own experience. Now, let me go back to this person who cannot stop themselves, because their internal experience right now is something I want you to understand in full. They are fighting it, not because they do not want to feel what they feel, but because the intensity of it is unfamiliar to them, and unfamiliar things, even beautiful ones, trigger a protective instinct in people who have learned to manage their interior world carefully. They have been telling themselves things, reasonable things, practical things, things designed to create some distance between what they feel and what they do with what they feel. It is not working, because what they feel when they are around you or thinking about you does not respond to reason the way feelings are supposed to. It does not diminish when they apply logic to it. It does not redirect when they consciously try to focus their attention elsewhere. It is stubborn in the way that only true things are stubborn, in the way that only feelings rooted in genuine recognition rather than surface attraction refuse to be managed into something more convenient. They see something in you that they have been looking for, perhaps without fully knowing they were looking, perhaps having given up on finding it. And now that they have found it in you, in the specific, unrepeatable combination of things that make you who you are, they cannot pretend they have not, cannot unsee it, cannot return to the version of their life that existed before you entered their awareness with all of your youth and your light and your impossible to quantify presence. They are, to use the exact energy that came through when I sat with this reading, undone. I want to ask you something, and I want you to really sit with it before you even formulate an answer in your own mind. Have you noticed the way this person looks at you when they think you cannot see them? Have you caught that specific quality of attention, the one that has a different texture from ordinary looking, that carries something more concentrated and more vulnerable than casual observation? Have you felt their energy shift when you enter a space even before any words have been exchanged? Because I feel that you have. I feel that some part of you has registered exactly what I am describing, perhaps before this reading gave you the language for it, perhaps as a quiet background knowing that you have been carrying without fully examining. Let me know in the comments if this is landing. Tell me if you have felt this person's energy pulling towards you in the way I am describing, because your experience of this connection is part of the reading and your voice belongs in this space. Let me speak now to what is building between you and this person, because the energy is not static. It is not a fixed point. It is moving, accumulating, approaching a moment of expression that this person has been building toward without perhaps fully consciously deciding to build toward it. There is something they want to say to you, something that has been forming in them over a period of time, taking shape slowly, the way things that are genuinely felt take shape. Not in a rush, but with the deliberateness of something that needs to be exactly right before it is offered. They have been composing it internally, revising it, approaching the moment of saying it and then stepping back, not out of disinterest, but out of the specific vulnerability of someone who understands that what they are about to offer is real, and real things carry real risk. The moment of saying it is close. The internal revision is reaching its end. The stepping back is becoming less possible as what they feel becomes more insistent. And when it finally comes forward, when this person stops managing what they feel and allows it to move from their interior world into the space between you, what you receive is going to be genuine in a way that is unmistakable. You will know it is real, not because it is perfectly delivered, but because it carries the specific weight of something that has been held carefully for a significant amount of time before being released. Inhale. I also want to speak to something about you in this moment, because this reading is not only about what this person feels, it is about what you deserve. And those are two different conversations that both need to be had. You deserve someone who cannot stop themselves when it comes to you, not in a way that feels overwhelming or intrusive or like you are an object of obsession rather than a person being genuinely seen, but in the specific, beautiful way of someone who encounters you fully and finds that encounter impossible to walk away from, unchanged. Someone who looks at you and sees not just your surface, but the extraordinary depth beneath it. someone who responds to the youth in your energy not as a curiosity but as a gift, as evidence of something rare and worth protecting and worth being in the presence of as much as possible. You have spent time, perhaps more time than was fair, in dynamics where your depth was underestimated or your light was taken for granted or the specific quality of your aliveness was treated as ordinary when it is anything but. Where people looked at you and saw something manageable rather than something extraordinary. This person does not see something manageable. They see something extraordinary, and they are having a genuinely hard time acting normal about it. Let me speak to the physical expression of this reading because I want to be grounded and specific rather than remaining only in the energetic. People have been commenting on how you look lately, and not in the generic complimentary way that people sometimes offer words about appearance, in a more specific, more observational, almost puzzled way. Like they are trying to figure something out, like your appearance is presenting them with a question they cannot quite answer. You look younger than you should, more alive than the circumstances of your life would seem to warrant, more luminous than someone who has navigated what you have navigated has any right to look. And the person I have been speaking about has noticed this with an acuity that goes beyond what they have expressed out loud. They have noticed it in private. In the moments when they are processing their own response to you without the social requirement to manage how that response appears to others, and what they notice, what they keep coming back to with a kind of helpless repetition, is that you are unlike anyone they have encountered in a way that they cannot fully articulate but cannot stop feeling. Your youth is not just something you have, it is something you radiate. And it is landing on this person like light on someone who has been standing in shadow for a very long time. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with something specific. Something that I feel belongs to you in this moment as both a confirmation and a permission. You are allowed to be aware of your own light. You are allowed to know without ego or performance or any kind of self-consciousness about the knowing that what you carry is rare and that the response it generates in the people around you is not accidental or exaggerated or something you are imagining. It is real. It is the natural, inevitable response to an energy that is genuinely extraordinary. The youth you carry, the light that makes people look twice, the presence that reconfigures rooms without effort, the aliveness that has survived everything your life has asked you to walk through without being extinguished. These are not things that happened to you. They are things you chose over and over and over again in the small private moments where no one was watching, and the choice to remain open and wondering and alive was made without an audience and without a reward. Those choices accumulated into who you are now, into the person that someone cannot stop themselves from being drawn to, into the specific, unrepeatable, luminous human being that is sitting with this reading right now, perhaps a little surprised at what is being reflected back. Do not be surprised. Or rather, let yourself be surprised and then let the surprise settle into recognition. Because on some level, in the deepest and most honest part of you, you have always known that what you carry is something, and now someone else knows it too, completely. helplessly, beautifully, and they cannot stop themselves. If this reading touched something real in you today, please share it with someone who needs to feel this energy, and leave me a comment below telling me how this landed. Tell me if you recognize this person the moment I started describing them. Tell me what it felt like to hear your own light described in this way. I read every single word you leave for me. Every story matters. Every one of you matters. Until next time, keep carrying that light exactly as you have been carrying it, without apology, without dimming it for anyone. The right people will always find their way to it, and clearly one already has.